The Apostle John gave great counsel in today's first reading. 1 John 2, 3 through 11, about familial relations and love. If you claim to live in the light, but hate a sibling or another family member, you know not the light, but live and remain in darkness. Only through reconciling with that sibling or family member can you leave behind the darkness and live forever in the light. Today, as you prepare your New Year's ideas for resolution, make plans for you to reach out to any family member with whom you have not spoken, with whom there is anger on one side or the other, or both, and work to make rapprochement. The other may not respond, or may even rebuff your attempt at détente, but at least you tried. You then have left the darkness behind. You then have cleansed yourself of that sin of the familial or sibling darkness. The other carries that burden. The other carries the sin. Then be certain to say to the Lord, I release my family member's name from their sin. I do not hold them bound. Thus, should anything happen to either of you, your soul is not stained for having held another bound by a sin, and there is no doubt. So you carry no burden. Remember, if you hold a sinner bound on earth, he is held bound in heaven for eternity, so he may never reach eternity. You must be as forgiving as the Father in heaven is forgiving, or you do not receive forgiveness yourself. Remove all anger and hate from your mind, from your heart, and from your soul. Hatred is one emotion which harms only the person feeling it, while having no effect on the recipient. It is like drinking poison and expecting the other to die of cancer. Yet people still hold on to their hates and their grudges for decades, allowing it to age them much prematurely, harm them, while the aim of their hate is often blissfully unaware of their animus. They may only realize the other stops speaking to them suddenly. Such is the consequence of hate. I know not why my two brothers hate me, and why suddenly one started speaking to me again, other than his new wife required it of him. But he had just as suddenly stopped speaking to me because of his previous wife. So I guess it all comes down to the wife. My twin, he had suddenly grown a heart that was human again. For 3 weeks I had my twin back, and I praised God every day. But just as suddenly, he was gone from me again. And the only one I can attribute it to is his wife and her sister. For I had bought tickets for all of us to go to Hamilton. I had paid extra for the better seats. He had paid only a portion of the ticket price. But he did not go. He sent his wife and her sister. It's possible they did not know that as we entered the theatre, I broke my fingers. I was in my wheelchair and it got no traction on the carpeting. So I went down the aisle and ran into a chair, breaking my hand, as that is what I used to stop me. I did not leave and go to hospital until that night. I wasn't going to miss that show. Not on your chances. But he stopped speaking to me afterwards. He denies it to Mother. They both deny it. But at the same time, when I find out things of marriage, of children, of sex change to transgender of children, my nieces and nephew, only when Mother feels like telling me, there is a lot of darkness in that family. The way that we make sure we know Jesus is to keep his commandments. Whoever says, I know him, but does not keep his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in them. But whoever keeps his word, the love of God is truly perfected in them. This is the way we may know that we are in union with him. Whoever claims to abide in him ought to walk just as he walked. Beloved, I am writing no new commandment to you, but an old commandment that you had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word that you have heard, and yet I do write a new commandment to you, which holds true in him and among you. For the darkness is passing away, and the true light is already shining. Whoever says he is in the light, yet hates his sibling, is still in the darkness. Whoever loves his sibling remains in the light, and there is nothing in him or her to cause a fall. Whoever hates his brother or sister is in the darkness. He walks in darkness and does not know where he is going, because the darkness has blinded his eyes. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.